values are driving you, and so on. Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, sure. So I have to go back to my childhood actually,
Mm-hmm.
and I must tell about my background. So I was born in rural part of Nepal, which is still not developed,
Yeah.
and the society that I was born was in a completely traditional society. So traditional culture, values, norms, all those things guided me. Living in those kind of culture, sometime it positively inspired me, because
Mm.
that gave me the idea of the idea and the importance of family,
Yeah.
the society and the
Yeah.
community. But definitely some of the traditional values were not positive there. So few things I was very interested from my childhood. I started asking question. So for example, in my community, even today, we have caste system,
Yeah.
and somewhere I'm in the upper level of caste system, and some of my friends, they were not allowed to you know participate in the same kind of social and community
Yeah.
functions and rituals and festivals the way I
Yeah.
was privileged to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I had started asking question, why they are not given the same level of opportunity to participate there. And somehow I found myself, the way other people relate to themselves with their culture, I'm not relating the same way. Definitely I'm promoting the positive culture, but
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile I was also asking questions, the critical question against the culture, and all those things. And over a period of time I found myself so flexible.
Yeah.
I was so open to adopt new culture. I was so open to adopt new voices.
Yeah.
I was so open to engage with
Wow.
some of the conflicting thing that was somehow challenging my own essence. So I believe it's my idea of being flexible and open to listen to other people, open to accept other people. That has become some sort of strength for me to go and adapt other part of the world. And
Okay.
that's what I did when I came to Australia. The day I arrived here, I told myself, if I have to stay here, I have to be open. I cannot live anymore the way I used to live back home. I pay a lot of attention to myself. Like, for example,
Okay.
what I'm doing, why
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing that one,
Mm-hmm.
how I'm doing the same thing. So I was born in comparatively lower socioeconomic status
Mm-hmm.
family in back my hometown. My parents, both of my parents, they never went to school.
Yeah.
So I'm the first person in my, not only in my family, actually in my entire blood relation, I'm the first
Mm.
person to go to
Yeah.
university.
Yeah.
And so one thing was very important for me, to know more. I had no idea why do I want to know more,
Yeah.
but there was something, something was guiding me. Oh, you should be knowing more.
Yeah.
Why I'm knowing more, I never understood. Even today, I can't exactly answer, why I'm interested to know more.
Yeah.
But somewhere, I feel like I should explore more. It's not because of the status. It's not because of money. It's not because of power and all those things. And that's how I have refrained myself, not competing with other.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of time. So
Yeah.
I should be very honest, when I'm talking about values. I used to compete with other people. I
Mm.
used to compete with the way they were growing in their career, the way
Yeah.
they were doing good in their education, the
Yeah.
way they were doing good in terms of their status.
Yeah.
So what used to happen is, I used to keep myself at the boundary of my personal life, and I used to keep other people at the center.
Ah.
And now what I'm doing is, now I'm keeping myself in the center, and then keeping all those people at the boundary.
Yeah.
So I have become center of my own personal universe. And this exactly makes sense to me. So I'm not comparing myself with other people, but I'm saying, yes, I'm at the center of my personal universe, and those are environmental or external entities in my life,
Yeah.
and I should not be competing myself with them. I should be competing with myself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I have been inspired to grow, and that's how I have been inspired to explore more in my own life.
In Australia, if you said I'm at the center of my universe, it's
Yeah.
kind of like I'm selfish and I think only about myself. But I know that you
Mhm.
don't
Yeah,
mean it in that
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Can you elaborate just a little bit so that we get a better sense of what you're on
yeah,
about?
yeah. Sure. When I'm saying I'm at the center of my own personal universe here now, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to disconnect myself with others.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Yes or no? If I'm going to argue the same thing in academic culture, or maybe some other people, they'll say,
Mm.
no, that's not possible. But if we practice, if we engage with ourselves, what I believe is, that is possible. So I had two incidents in my own life where I found myself, I can disconnect myself with others.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when I completed my intermediate of engineering, and then I had 1 year. So during that time, I did nothing. So mostly I was staying at home, and that gave me opportunity to work on myself, what
Yeah.
exactly I'm
Yeah.
doing. The second incident was in after 2012. I used to work with a lot of private college in Nepal back home,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly one point of time I decided I don't want to work. So I resigned from every places. There was no reason to resign, but still, I resigned. I just didn't want it to work that moment.
Mm.
And I started staying at home for 1 year. And then what I found in my own life is there are so many questions in my own life that needs to be answered.
Ah.
And those answers will not come from other people.
Yeah.
Those answers will not come from
Yeah.
my family, my friends, and
Yeah.
my colleagues. To get the answer, the
Mm.
right answer in the right moment, I have to keep myself in the center
Yeah.
and then ask myself who you are and what exactly you are doing at the moment and how you are leading your own life. And that gave me idea something like, okay, now enough for holiday, enough for reflection, and now it's time for you to go back to university again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I wrote my PhD proposal. That's how I contacted my supervisor, and that's how I thought about my research project.
Mm.
Because to some extent, that has become one of the identity for me at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic, and it's so important. So reflective is reflexive. So
Yeah.
it's using your inner
Yeah.
world or as the touchstone,
Yes.
so that you're not any longer basing self-esteem,
Mhm.
your aspirations, your career decisions, or anything else
Yeah.
around the external world.
Yeah.
It's all guided from an inner clock. And
Yeah.
I might use
Yeah.
the analogy of the compass, didn't I? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like that's what I think values
Mhm.
are all about.
Yeah.
But we often relegate values to the world around us and just take them on,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah.
Because I know we're coming towards the end of this little interview. For me, the sense of values draws on our past.
Mhm.
There is a cultural dimension, but what I'm hearing in your story that you've told us here is that there's also that your personal inner drives
Mhm.
have deeply edited. I guess the word
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
You've edited your
Yeah.
cultural
Yeah.
roots.
Yeah.
So you've still got cultural traditions that no
Yes.
doubt that you feel very much
Yes.
aligned with.
Yeah.
But you've actually not just brought in a new experience by going to the Western countries,
Yes.
but you've actually done the hard work of looking at your own values
Yeah.
and seeing how congruent they are with both the new world, Australia,
Yeah.
and your source
Yeah.
world of Nepal or rural Nepal.
Yeah. This is my personal experience,
Mm.
and what I have learned in my own life. If we start asking hard question to
Mm.
ourselves,
Mm.
we come to realize, so many times we were wrong.
Yeah.
And that particular realization is so essential if we really want to know about ourselves. For example, if I want to know about myself, I should be asking hard question to myself,
Yeah.
and whether I can answer that hard question or not. Sometimes it's so difficult, like not getting the exact answer. That doesn't mean your life is gone.
No.
That means your life has just started from that point. That gives you some sort of purpose, that gives you some sort of aims to still exist in this society, to still exist in this universe. And from there you can start your journey. Also, what I have realized is, the more and more I'm asking question, so maybe I can find the answer for one question, but I have 10 more questions there within the answer. And that's how it keeps on increasing and increasing. And that is the beauty of life, for me, like personally, because the more questions that you encounter, the more purpose and aims you get to still exist in the in this universe. So this is how I have traveled so far. I know this is a continuous journey. I have to talk, I have to explore, I have to participate more. And meanwhile, I'm very aware I have to pause quite often, because that pause in life gives you opportunity to reflect on yourself, what you have been doing and how you have been doing. And that's what I have been doing.
Beautiful.
That's what I have been doing until now.
Fantastic. So I guess one last thing then, I want to go back to what you said at the beginning. So you're talking about questions, but I guess you haven't given any recent examples, okay? But you did give us the example of the social justice question about caste at the very beginning. Why are these boys not allowed to come to this sort of thing? So and it sounds like you went through a sort of engineering science type thing, and now you've ended up in social work. So can you say something perhaps about social justice?
Sure.
To finish off.
Sure. I think it will be interesting to to talk about what exactly is happening at the moment. And I will give you an example. You can go to social media, and in social media, just pick up any news agency. They publish some of the news. Don't read the news, but go to comments section and read what people are talking there. People have been still talking about differences. And the biggest enemy of social justice is when we start our discussion over difference. So for example, just here, you and I, we have a lot of differences in terms of ethnicity, in terms of race, in terms of language, and all those things. But if I keep that one in my mind, then I can't accept you. So the idea of social justice is not only to talk over how we can achieve social justice, but also personal realization, how I'm not going to give that difference a central role in my own life. So this is what personally I will do it. So for example, when I work at our university, I never try to convince myself I'm a brown little guy from Nepal. I just try to convince myself I'm one of them. So I'm trying to
family.
One of the family, one of the part of university. And this is how I'm trying to minimize differences. And possibly this is my strong belief. If we start thinking in that way, minimizing difference, possibly the entire world will be so much better to live.
That's fantastic. And a good point to end too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcus.